morning, Westeros!
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are your Morning Throners.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We are your Morning Throners, and we got episode 6, season finale of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yep.
Nels, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Are you?
I like this episode. I think we're back from last one for sure.
Oh, I didn't think you'd like this one.
There's a few things that I don't like, but for the most part, I think it's good.
I thought it was pretty good too.
They got the main parts of that I wanted from the end. I think they captured pretty well.
There's I mean, again, I've read it twice now, and I don't remember like exactly how it ends. I think they took a lot of liberties, I would say. It just felt like I don't remember that. I don't mind a lot of them. I thought you would, because I feel like it does change the book a lot, kind of. Like, you're all about the vibe. I feel like the very last scene is very vibe changing.
Yeah, the last scene is one of the scenes I don't like, where you're talking about the scene where Maekar kind of is like, oh fuck, Egg left without me knowing, is the implication for sure.
I think that kind of changes the whole point of it all.
So what I was thinking...
not the whole point, a big point of it.
What I was thinking, and I was going to say, the way we do this is... Normally we have a spoiler section and a non-spoiler section, but now there's not much to spoil as long as we don't talk about the feature books, so I think we're good there. Yeah. Except, I guess the one thing I'll say is that, and this is kind of a spoiler for the feature books, but I don't think it's really a spoiler, is so far in the feature books, we haven't seen that it's true that Maekar does know where Egg is, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not like we've heard that like by the third novella they've like Dunk and Egg have swung by Summerhall, tagged back up with Maekar, said yo what's up, and then kept going on. But I agree with you. I don't think it's likely that this is how it is in the books, because Maekar would have a manhunt out for his son by this point or something. You know what I mean? So,
knowing where they are and permission to go is a big difference. Yeah,
and what I just said, by the end of the third book, like shortly after the end of the third book, what I just said would have to not be true anymore, right? Like basically, I'm saying the third book, there's something that happens that Maekar would get news through the grapevine, probably of where Dunk and Egg were at. So, but yeah, I in general I didn't like it because I don't think that's the implication in the book, but I don't think technically we can disprove it from anything in the book so far. So
if you wanted Maekar to have any kind of like redemption arc of like, oh, I'm doing this for Egg and his sake, this completely negates that.
That's more why I don't like it. Exactly.
Yeah. Because they had that moment, right? They had that moment with Daron. They had them, Daron and Arion, and it's like,
what happens? I don't remember exactly because I just watched it, but when Dunk says to Maekar, Daron never slept in a ditch, Arion never ate salt beef, he only ate raw beef.
And you could see like that kind of struck with Maekar.
But he just walked away, right? He didn't say anything. He just walks out. That's how it goes in the books. Is they're out near Dunk's tree, but Maekar just walks off, and then like a few hours later, Egg shows up.
Right. He just walks away, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But like walked away like understanding like what he kind of got at, I think. I can't remember if there was another word. If there were more words, I don't think it really mattered.
Yeah.
There's one so the Lionel scene in the very beginning.
Yeah. You want to get into the chronological right away?
We can. Yeah.
The Lionel scene is the other thing I kind of had a problem with. I didn't like. Like, I don't understand why Lionel's offering this to Dunk. Like, why do we need this?
Yeah.
That's not in the books for anybody who hasn't read the books. Lionel does not offer to Dunk. And then Lionel and Dunk seem to have different opinions of the results of the tourney.
Right. Lionel has very...
fuck the Targaryen vibes.
And fuck Baelor, even too, like no respect in what Baelor did for Dunk.
He has a bit of a point. I'm not saying I agree with Lionel, but like his point against like fuck Baelor is he's basically like he fought against his brother, his nephews, and 3 Kingsguard who can't hit him. Like,
well, his brother fucking hit him.
And to be fair, Dunk is way more. I feel like in the books, Dunk is just more hung up about the Humphreys as well, Humphrey Beesbury and Humphrey Harding. Mm-hmm. So it's not in the show. He does seem like solely hung up on Baelor, and part of Lionel's point is like, what about the Humphreys? They died for you too. Like, are they less important because they're not Targaryens? Like, and I agree with him. Like, they did. More. The one Humphrey fought with a fucking broken leg, right? So like,
no, I thought the Lionel thing. I feel like they needed more than just. We even talked about it after the very first one. Like, what could even this episode be? So they they needed to fill out some more time because really it was only the conversation with Maekar, right? And
Yeah.
like, so they needed some shit with Raymond, Fosway. They needed some shit with Lionel, I guess, because they're gonna. Here's the other thing too. I don't want to. Oh, I guess that would be kind of. I
don't know what you're gonna say.
We don't see them again, Raymond and Lionel, and the
That's
next
not a spoiler.
two. It kind of is.
Oh, it's not.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say that we don't see Raymond and Lionel in the next two novellas, so
yeah, I
don't know why we needed to spend more time on them here.
Well, we know that what's his face, Ira Parker the showrunner wants to do. I'm sure you've seen it, like 15 seasons, like 5 seasons, then like wait like a few years, and 5 seasons, and wait a few years, and like batches of 5 or something like that.
It's a lot of seasons.
I think there's some hints in this episode that I don't know about something else that I want to talk to you about. But so I guess the last part of this Lionel scene that I did like, and I agree. I was very like, oh no, please don't go down this bad route when the episode first started, because I did not like the Lionel scene at all. Especially where he like the Maester's like, Dunk's not gonna live, and Lionel just like shoos him off. It's like, we don't need you. Like, what? Like, that's a doctor. Like,
and then he's walking around. He walked the whole fucking marathon to get up the mountain. He walked up the mountain, down the mountain, around
and if
the
deal. Maester says you're not gonna live, like, you're not gonna live, bro. Like, that's like not 100%, but like he's like a doctor basically. He's definitely better than Lionel.
We know how many wounds Dunk suffered as well. So if they're festered, he's not getting up and crutching. He didn't even have a crutch. He had a stick. Yeah,
the other thing I'll say is I think everybody, I think they did a good job with the makeup for everybody that was in the battle. They all looked pretty banged up, but everyone just like had cuts on their face and had a limp. Like everyone had a limp. Like Lionel had a limp. He had his like stag cane. Dunk had his cane. Maekar was limping. Raymond was limping.
I don't
like,
hate
everyone
that.
We saw that was. I don't know. I just thought it was like.
I don't hate that because if we even know like when if you do play in a physical deal,
not everyone's gonna hurt their leg though. Like some people are gonna have upper body injuries.
But like, you're gonna be like even sore. If it's your back, right? You're like sore, you're gonna be walking a little bit differently. Your legs. I fucking play a game of pickup basketball and I can't feel my ankle for a couple hours.
It felt a little bit like a Family Guy episode to me, where just like everyone had a funny limp. You know what I mean? But it was not that big of a deal.
That's being.
But the part that I did like at the end of this Lionel part was what he says about Baylor is gods don't favor fraud.
Yeah.
And then Dunk says, then why favor me? And I guess the other part that I don't like, but I don't hate it because it's pretty obvious in the books too, is the flashback with Arlen. And I do like some of this flashback, but what Dunk basically admits that he's not. We get the admission that Dunk's on a night there, basically.
I mean, that was one of my big parts about. It's not even the next scene though, so do you want to save it?
Yeah, we can get to it later. Yeah, we'll talk about that scene when we get to it. But yeah, Dunk says, "Why favor me?" And again, that's probably because I'm a fraud. I'm not a knight.
Yeah, but he also mentioned there's a war coming, which like what the fuck does that mean, Lionel? Like, why are you bringing that up? Right?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that means because the war already happened.
He's like, "Come with me. Storm's End is boring. There's a war coming." And like, okay, like what? It was funny that Lionel said, "We're leaving after the roast," and then there's Baylor just fucking roasted.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Well, I mean, come on, pick up on some.
Is that what Baylor was talking or Lionel was referencing, you think? I thought he just meant like he was having a party.
I don't think so. I think it was probably like a Beesbury roast or something like that. Like an actual
like a director joke.
And then it was like, I see. Yeah. And then here's Baylor just getting on fire.
I think Baylor is married to a Dondarrion, which is why the Dondarrion who was like sleeping around earlier was there, along with all the Targaryens and Dondarrion.
I didn't take note of kind of who else was there.
I think that Dondarrion just showed up because he was like brother-in-law or something. You know what I mean? Like closely related. So
yeah,
kind of funny. Yeah, they cut to it.
Wait, one more thing I didn't like about Sir Lionel. You probably loved it. Was like he mentioned really slipped it in. Have you ever been to Tarth? And I'm like, that's stupid. I don't like that.
I was wondering if at first they were saying, that's where I'm going to bring you back to. I'm like, that's going to confuse people. But then later he says Storm's End. So I'm like, okay, he was just saying like hawking, hunting, ship riding. Have you ever been to Tarth? Like that's one thing we could stop by one day.
Let's go cuck Mr. Tarth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Because they're just trying to like play into that, right?
When they said it, I didn't like it because I was already like off to a bad foot. I think Lionel might have already offered. Yeah, he'd already offered to come with him, and I just didn't like that, which could put me in a bad mood right off the get go. But I came around kind of quick.
I just don't like the whole Brienne thing, so I'll.
Yeah, I know. So the Valar and Dunk conversation at the funeral, that's pretty much straight out of the book. So I like that, right? Like he had it in him to be a good knight.
Yep. The Villar actor is pretty good too. I feel like I've seen him before somewhere.
That was his only scene. Kind of sucks. Like I don't think he had to speak in any other scenes. Like he was kind of shown in passing. But yeah, that was good. And then the next part, Duncan Raymond.
Raymond gets married to the redheaded whore.
Yeah, was that the whore?
Yeah, for sure. That's the whore that we've seen a couple times that like was making fun of him in the early episode, and then she was like cheering in the stands last episode, which was cool. Man, Raymond's obviously not his kid, right?
Oh, Dondarrion's kid, probably.
I mean, whoever it is, it could be a slew. You think, right? Like,
yeah, because she was a whore before, right?
I mean, maybe she's not. Maybe she was just a Dondarrion follower, but like,
yeah, I was confused. At first, I thought wait, is that the same girl from before? Like, or is that just like, did Raymond have a wife before? Then he said they got married because he got her pregnant. I'm like, wait a minute, like, so maybe that is the girl from Dondarrion.
It was the girl. It was the girl from earlier. Which I'm just like, holy shit, like that kind of like, does this guy?
The whole Green Apple line is actually Dondarrion line.
The Green Apple line doesn't even exist.
Yeah, it's all Maybe that's part of the point. Is like it's all just like a mishmash, hedgepodge. Nobody knows who anybody's parents are in this.
Yeah, but the implication. What
implication?
That the
lady basically just used Raymond to like get a wife because she was pregnant and knew that wouldn't end up well for her like just position.
I mean, she won the lottery. Don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll see where Raymond goes. Right now, all he got to his name is a tent, but it seems like his dad has some power and wants to start a cider.
We're gonna get some green apple cider going.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if somehow they work these guys in future seasons somehow. I don't know how you would.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised if they aren't at some point mentioned or I kind of wish they maybe not. I think the cool part about Dunk and Egg is that they do just. Like they could be anywhere with all like every season's new a fresh
completely
new experience.
Different.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's cool. I also just want to give Dunk's actor a shout out real quick because the dude is good. Like the dude
is good.
The dude's good.
He is like big too. Like there's a part where he's like petting Sweetfoot and his like hand is like as big as Sweetfoot's face. I'm like, damn, this dude's like bigger than people. I think he's
big enough. Like it's hard to like people. I saw a post too. Like people forget that Dunk's supposed to be like the mountain size, which like the mountain is like one of one.
He's supposed to be like the hound size. The mountain's like a foot taller than like Dunk's like 7 foot. The mountain's like 8 foot, I think.
I just saw a post. It was like, remember that Dunk's really supposed to be this big.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a lot bigger, but
like you can't find people that can.
You can't find 7 footers that aren't lanky, right? Like you get 7 footers in the NBA, but they're all like twigs. It's hard to get like a.
Right,
like Dunk has some meat
beef to him.
Yeah,
or you find the guy who played the mountain, and he's just like
that's true. Yeah,
a tree.
Like, I think he's only like 6'5" too. He would probably look shorter than Dunk because he's meatier than Dunk and the same height. But yeah,
that dude.
But yeah, so after the Raymond thing, some guards show up. Magar wants to see you. I guess like the argument is this makes more sense. Again, I think it would have been better. I don't know why you don't do it by Dunk's tree. I think it would have been cooler if like Magar comes. Again, I think it just like humanizes Magar more that he's coming out himself to see Dunk by his tree instead of just sending guards after him. But again, like your point with like the whole end scene, like I guess that they're not really going down like the let's humanize Magar route.
Which they like Magar is obviously very angry in this, angry, sad, in like all steps of grief. Dealing with the Baylor death, but then later on with Egg, he shows like a caring dad. So like they're going in that direction a little bit, but not all the way.
Yeah, I don't think they've like. I think Magar. I don't think it's one of my biggest complaints, but I don't think they've conveyed like his biggest problem in the show as well as in the books. Like to me, in the books, like clearly his biggest problem isn't like the current problem at hand. It's in general he doesn't think his children stack up. In general, but especially compared to Baylor's children, who are just like better, and I don't think that's clear here. So like, I agree. I don't think it's as compelling in the show when Dunk hits him with the line like Daron's never slept in a ditch. Aaron's never, because it doesn't seem like he has a general issue with his children. It seems like he's pissed off at Arion right now for this reason because he is being a little bit pompous right now. And Daron, was being a wise ass and went missing with Egg. So like, he's pissed at him right now. But you don't get like the feeling that he has like this general disappointment in his kids, which I feel like just comes across a little bit better in the books. But again, I like the scene for the most. I like they kind of split up the one scene that's between Dunk and Magar in the books into two. but I like them both. I think they convey the vibe pretty well, even if they are shifting Makar a little bit.
I agree. I didn't mind that Egg spied and that they cut it. I didn't even mind that Dunk kind of said no at first too, and then came to the realization that Egg needs him.
Yeah, and I like how they kind of played that line with like, I'm done with princes. And then when he comes back, he's like, he's not a prince, like not yet. Right. Like that's the whole point, is I can save him. It's kind of the whole point there is I can save him from becoming a prince. I can keep him just a dude, a guy.
Right. And you know what? Makar does say something before that. I know we're kind of jumping around out of order, but it's all relative to the conversation. I think he tells Dunk he's my last one.
Yeah, somewhere in there he says, Egg's my last son, like my last chance to get it right, basically.
And I think that's after.
I think it's in the second conversation.
Yeah, it's the second one. I think it's the last thing he says before he walks out.
I think the reason that I don't hate that, we can wait till they get there, right? So they have this conversation. Is there anything? I think this is all just from the books.
I mean, they blame each other, right? Kind of like.
Well, they don't blame each other, but they have this mutual acceptance of we're both going to get blamed.
We're both going to be blamed for it. But I feel like Makar blamed Dunk a little bit. He blamed Dunk a little bit more.
Yeah, the thing that I think they didn't do well is, like I think I told you, I saw people who hadn't read the books after the last episode thinking that Makar killed Baelor on purpose.
Yeah.
To become heir, next in line.
And he's not even close.
I don't think they did a good enough job in this episode of clearing that up. And again, it's hard. How did they wouldn't know that people might be confused about that, right? At the end of the last episode.
What did Lionel say to Baelor before the fight? Like, oh,
mother loved you best. That's a pity. Like the scorned son always fights harder, or something like that.
He didn't say like the number. Or, like if he could have, said so. Like, oh, the fourth son will always fight harder.
We did see Valar, so that should remind people that like, hey, there is a son of Baelor that should be next in line. But there are also two other brothers in between Makar and not a big deal. And Makar in this scene, and I think it's from the books. He says, no one will believe that, like, people will say that the blow that hit my brother was on purpose, like implying that it wasn't. Like, there's a line like that in here too, which again I think is from the book. So, yeah, in general, I think they did this well. The end is the only difference where he's like, I'm done with, like, will you take my son? That's basically where Dunk, he thinks for a minute. And again, I like this because pretty quick in the show, Dunk went to answer, and I'm like, man, I think that answer is too quick. Like in the books, it seems like he has to think for a minute. He has the whole like look at the dragonfly. What's it gonna be? Dunk dragonflies.
You had talked about that last episode too, right? You didn't want him to. You wanted him to kind of think or something about.
Well, yeah, and I kind of like that's why they split this into two. It gives Dunk like literally like a couple hours to think about it. Like in the books, like he looks and he thinks of the dragonflies. Like what's it gonna be? Dragonflies or dragons? Basically thinking he has to decide between
Summerhall,
simple life, the Hedge Knight life, or the let's go serve at Summerhall and become like a High Lord servant. And then that's when you can tell like he's thinking like, oh wait, what if we try and do both? At least that's how I read that. They didn't do the dragonfly thing here, and I think he kind of comes to that conclusion over some of the conversation he has after this conversation before the next Makar conversation. Which again, I think some of those are pretty cool, and it's all new. I think for the most part, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, the Egg was listening.
Is it Beesbury's funeral after Egg? I mean, Egg's kind of there, and he's like, "Look, I can't do it, Egg. Sorry."
Yeah, I like that. I don't know. I like that scene though. Like when they're there, and
it kind of reminds me of like Air Bud when he's just like, "Get out of here, buddy." You know what I mean? Like,
or like Arya throwing rocks at Nymeria a little bit, right?
Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah, like I love you, but it's for both of ours. The better good for both of us. Yeah. Pretty much where Dunk thinks it is. Yep. This is where we get the flashback to Arlen after this Dunk and Egg. I think before the Beesbury funeral.
So I like the flashback, and then I don't like the flashback, and then I chuckled.
Explain all three.
So I thought you got a little bit more into like Arlen, like a little bit of redemption. Like, all right, like the whole thing was like Egg said, I thought you were a better knight, or I thought you were a true knight or a real knight. I don't remember what Egg said. And that's what kind of spewed the flashback, was Egg saying that to Dunk.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Let me check real quick. Oh, maybe you're not the knight I thought you were.
Okay. You're not the knight I thought you were. So, boom, we go into this, like, is he dying at the tree scene? It's obviously the tree that he died at, right? It's the burial site. Yep. Okay, so we're at the burial site, and you feel like Arlen's gonna drop this wisdom on Dunk. And Dunk's kind of sitting there listening, and Arlen's like in a fever dream of talking about Penny Tree, and then.
Well, this is what I think is the coolest part of this whole thing is the lore he's dropping on Penny Tree. We don't know why Penny Tree is called Penny Tree.
Yeah.
Jamie goes there and Dance with Dragons. He sees the Penny Tree, and Jamie doesn't even know what it's about. He doesn't think to even ask the town about.
That's cool then. A little history.
And I think this just kind of fits the vibe of like George's whole. I think it fits the theme of Feast for Crows really well, right? So do you remember what Arlen says is like, "What's up with Penny Tree? Why are all these pennies in the tree?"
Because the soldiers put a penny up when they go to war, and then if they come back, they can take it off. But there's no spots for the tree. There's no spots on the tree for new pennies.
Yeah, meaning there's so many people haven't come back that at this point it's even hard to find a spot. Yeah, so the theme is like people go off to war and die. And he's like, when they call, like when the lords go to war and they call us boys up, it's kind of like how Arlen's like. To me, it was very reminiscent of like Maribald's Broken Man speech. Right? Like they call us out, we end up like no one knows who's who, and then we all die. Our brothers die, and we're just lost out there.
Broken man.
Yeah.
And then he kind of stops talking, and you get Dunk being really sad. And I had said it in the first episode that I thought they played much too into Dunk not being a knighted knight.
Yep.
Which I think it's important that non-book readers have that possibility that maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
Yeah. They left the door open, but just a crack with this one.
Yeah. And they left it open because he knocks out, which made me chuckle because I was pretty angry that it was just like that blatant of like, I'm not a knight.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, like maybe he knights him after this because he obviously heard him crying. I would have stayed with you. Why didn't you knight me? Right? Because he was kind of there.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Because so when he like
maybe he was there, maybe he wasn't. So that you get that.
Dunk's like, sir, and I'm like, wait, is he dead? And then he pops up, he's like, and that's why they call it Penny Tree. And then you're like, wait, did he hear anything Dunk just said? And then I was wondering to myself, like, wait, did he hear? And he's pretending he didn't hear because he's an asshole from what we've seen so far. Or like. I don't know. So, but yeah, they left it open. Like last we saw as he was alive. Again, the storm was rolling in. So do you think a non-book reader right now believes that he was ever knighted or believes he was not knighted? Again, I think it heavily implies he wasn't knighted, but this scene, I think it's just there to point out like, hey, think about this. Right. And again, kind of like when you read the novella the first time, I think it wasn't until I asked you at the end, like, was Dunk knighted? You were like, I didn't even think about that. But then on a second read, you're like, yeah, it's so obvious. It's kind of like pretty obvious that there's a lot of hints. Again, it's not obvious. We don't know for sure, but there's a lot of hints.
There's way more hints. When you're looking for it, there's way more hints.
Yeah.
And they put it here too, right? In the very first scene when and Lionel says something about the gods, and he said frauds. Gods don't like frauds. And
what about
he's
me?
Like, what about me? They put it in there a bunch.
That's something you would miss again. But I think if somebody rewatched this episode, and I bet you there's a lot of people rewatching the episode. It seems like a lot of people like them, and they're short. Yeah. So someone's gonna rewatch this episode twice in a week. That line might not have popped out to him on the first time. If they're a show only watcher, it will pop out to him on the second line after this scene. So I don't hate the scene, and again, I like that they left the door open. I think they left it open a crack.
It made me laugh. I thought it was a better comic relief than a cock swing or a poop shoot.
The thing that made me laugh is when he pops back and he says,
"That's how a knight tells. A good knight always finishes the story.
A true knight always finishes the story." What do you think that's about? That has to be like a wink towards George, right? No, you didn't think that at all?
No, I didn't. I was even trying to think into like a deeper show, like what knight in a show didn't finish telling a story before something happened.
Dude, George is the most notorious unfinished story person in the world right now. What are you talking about?
You're taking that and saying Winds of Winter is already finished?
Yeah. Yep. I am. I'm one of those optimistic people about Winds of Winter. I've said before, I think Winds of Winter might already be finished. I just don't think George is going to release anything in the main series until he's done with everything in the main series. He's had some quotes before about like, we don't have to get into it now, but that's what my theories are. So I don't know.
It's a cool thought. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are going
either
to
this
take
is a jab at George. I think most people are going to take it as a jab at George. right? But George, I think
No.
George is on good terms with Ira Parker,
Yeah.
and I don't know. George saw this again. I think George is the kind of guy that could take a joke. So I don't know, like maybe this is a jab, and George just thought that was kind of funny. Like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think George was definitely in mind when this line was written.
Well, if it is, I think it would be more for what you're hoping for than a jab at him.
It's like secretly done, and we're gonna find out soon. I mean, hey, they did announce a lot, right? They announced the House of the Dragons.
I don't even know if it's secretly done, but like it's in like editing stage, maybe. I don't know.
Like it's public. Yeah, it's getting close or something. But yeah, again, I'm overly optimistic. Been overly optimistic for 10 years now. So
It's crazy that it's been that long.
however long. Yeah. All right. Next scene: Duncan Raymond, Beesbury funeral. Then I didn't even know who this was at first. Then it's basically Duncan Daron's the main talking point.
Yeah,
Kyle would have liked this. They had the bee in the hive,
yeah, it was good.
queen bee.
Which is pretty wild because
I don't think that makes it completely safe to just be around, but I don't know.
right, it's not like they're just like not gonna sting anybody because the queen's there, right?
We'll have to ask Kyle in the next episode we record.
Yeah.
For those big fans that's gonna watch that listen to most of our episodes, that's actually gonna be Dance with Dragons Brand 1, the next one we're gonna record with Kyle. So you guys have a little bit to get the answer to that.
It's gonna be months from now.
But, yeah, but that one.
All right, write it down, put it on your desk. Yeah, because it's not like you just can't go to a, what do they call it, hive?
Yeah, like all hives have a queen in them. That doesn't mean you just walk up to it and
Right,
all the other bees are to ignore you.
Nope, the queen's there. We're cool.
That would be my guess. Yeah. So
Now, Dunk does talk with Daron, right? In the book, or no? This doesn't exist.
I don't think there's a talk with Daron afterwards. If so, it's at Baylor's funeral, but I don't think there is.
Okay,
And I
Daron.
kind of like this.
I did like it too because Daron. It just shows like Daron's kind of a fuck.
I didn't know who it was at first. I thought it was Arion. When Dunk first goes up and he's like, "How dare you show up here?" I'm like, "Wait, is that Arion? Like, who is?" Because Daron's supposed to have brown hair to me. And my brain, Daron has brown hair. So when it's like has blonde hair, I'm like, "Wait, this is a Targaryen. He's accusing him for being in the fight. Like, this doesn't. I don't recognize this person." And we've always really seen Daron once before, or twice.
I just didn't know who it was when he said like serving boy, bring my cup. I'm like, that's weird vibe for this tent.
Yeah. I thought it was Lionel because Lionel had just walked in. I thought Dunk and Lionel were gonna have some more beef, but ended up being Daron. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the meaning of the conversation? I don't even remember what Daron says to him.
The point that I took away of it at the end was like, Arion used to be a kid once too.
A nice boy. Yeah.
He used to like fishing, and then it cuts to like a dead fish at Egg's room, and Egg hasn't been eating. But again, I think the point there is like Dunk realizes Egg isn't a prince.
Right. Or more so like we weren't born this way. This was nurture, not nature, that caused us to be this way.
Especially these two Targaryens, Darian and Arion.
And then you get
Daron and Arion.
So you got Egg, didn't touch his dinner, which looked like a pretty good, nicely cooked fish.
But I guess I agreed. But hold on real quick. I guess just in general, that line with Daron is why I like this kind of cut between the Maekar conversations, because Dunk has time to stew on it. His whole thing was, I'm done with princes, and then he realizes here, like, we're not born kind of like we're not born Republicans or Democrats, we're not born Christians or Muslims, or we're just born kids, right? And then like life experiences like steer you down one path or the other. I think that's kind of what Dunk's thinking, like with Egg here. He's like, Egg's not a prince yet. He's not a stuck up asshole. He's not a drunk. Again, you can say that some of Daron's drunkenness is due to his dreams, but
I mean, it's hard to just say prince because right now you have
technically he's a prince. It's a blood thing, but you understand what Dunk's saying.
I meant more so like he just met Baylor, who he had a lot of respect. You keep throwing around the word prince like it's only Maekar's kids. That like you're blanketing prince, but he just met Baylor, who he had a ton of respect for, and it seems like he had a decent amount of respect for Valar. So it's not like
true. You're right.
Two of the three princes, Maekar, right? So
some of the princes we know aren't bad.
Yeah. So
yeah, but I agree. That's I would say that's more of a problem with the showrunners. Like I get what they're going at with the princes. Yeah. It seems like they're talking about more of just Maekar's children, but instead of saying that they say princes instead. But yes, I get your valid point by you. Also weird that Daron is. I just thought it was weird. Why is Daron asking Dunk like, please be Egg's, like take an egg on a square? Like, why does Daron care? Like, so I don't have to? I guess maybe that makes sense.
Yeah. Let me not have the responsibility. And does he really care about Egg getting farther away from the family? Probably not. It probably to skirt the responsibility is.
Yeah, well, at this point, Daron probably thinks take Aegon at Squire and you basically come live with us at Summerhall. And just do it so I don't have to. So I don't have to go out in the yard every day or whatever. Yeah, so then we go to Egg. You got the fish.
More so, he has a knife. How about him walking to go kill his brother?
Yeah, I like this.
I don't mind it either. I didn't know how you would feel about it just because it's like completely like full deal, but like it kind of shows you that like Egg's got some fucking madness to him. Egg's about to go kill him.
That's fair point.
Egg wasn't walking at him to cut his hair or to like be like, hey brother, can you cut my hair so I don't look like you? He was gonna go stab his ass. Yeah,
super fair point. I guess the way I took this, and maybe this is, I think you're probably reading it, your read's probably better than mine. My initial thought was like, this is the type of shit that Egg's gonna end up going down if he doesn't squire for Dunk, right? Like, and again, this is why I agree with you. I don't like the ending part where it wasn't actually Maekar's decision to send the Egg off. Like,
yeah,
the thing that I thought was crazy is when Maekar comes up and like puts his hand on Egg. I thought that was good. I thought Egg was like gonna like hide the knife and like Maekar,
right, like tuck it in.
He
his
just drops
belt.
it on the floor. Yeah, he just drops it and it rattles. So now Maekar knows Egg's about to come kill his brother.
Absolutely. So Maekar knows he's like protecting Arianne or like just at his bedside to see if he's gonna whatever. He's doing something with Arianne. And then he like has that great father-son moment with Egg where it's like, all right, cool. He does care about Egg. And now he's about to go into this conversation with Dunk where it's like, shit, you're right. Like,
and that's after, this is all after. He had already told Dunk in the first conversation, I plan to send Arianne away.
Right.
So he might not be worried that like, oh, Egg's not going to kill him. These two will not be fighting anymore because they'll be separated, right? So maybe that's not the motive. Because I agree with you. Like, to me, this scene seems like a good motivation for Maekar to want to send Egg off with Dunk.
Especially if he's like, holy shit, my 9-year-old son was about to murder his brother.
Yeah. I guess the one argument against it could be what I was just saying, that like he knows that these two children won't be at each other's throats anymore because Arianne, as soon as he's better, is getting sent away.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I think just the premise of holy shit, there's a problem with my fathering or the situation these guys are being raised if they're trying to kill my 9-year-old son's trying to kill my 16-year-old son or whatever. Arianne seems a little bit older in the show, but yeah.
Yeah. No, it's which again, so the second combo with Dunk and Maekar I think was great. I thought it was pretty good. And
right before that though, the girl runs up when Dunk's waiting for Maekar.
I didn't care for that.
I thought it was kind of funny just because I've seen a lot of memes this week, like the past couple of weeks, of like this poor girl, like memes about her or Lord Ashford, just like joking, like dude just tried to throw a simple
about her birthday.
Yeah, like guy tried to throw a simple tourney for his girl's birthday and it turned into the biggest political event in like 4 years or something like that. Like, so I've seen a lot of memes like that. So
that's not bad then.
This scene almost seems like somehow they anticipated that and like we're leaning into it. But
she's just too weird. Like the way she did it was just like too like, hey, I'm not mad at you. Good job. Bye.
Sorry you ruined my birthday. Yeah, basically. I just wish Dunk would have been like, he's like, thanks. I just wish he would also say like, yeah, I am sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah.
he did, but he was just like, okay, thanks. But yeah, not the small thing I just thought was kind of funny. Because of all the memes I've been seeing.
Yeah, it was, I was indifferent to it. I was like, all right, like this is just another one of those minute extenders.
Yeah, but I think, so Maekar does just look at Dunk and then walk out after Dunk says all that stuff. Oh no, maybe you're right. Maybe it ends with my last son.
Does he not say my last son? Yeah, I thought that's what.
I don't like that.
Is that what it ends with?
Yeah, in the books it ends with Dunk's speech and then Maekar just walks away. I kind of wish it would. I don't hate the last son part. I just wish they would have like worked that into earlier in the conversation. I guess again, not a big thing. I still like the Dunk and Maekar stuff in general, for the most part.
Yeah, I like to do. I didn't mind that he said another thing. So
I like the son thing. I just wish it would have been earlier. I like the fact that Dunk gives this long speech and then like it almost seems like Maekar's thinking about it. You don't know if he's saying yes or no, and he walks off. Him saying he's my last son implies no, right? He's like, no, I'm not going to give up my last son to go on the road with you.
I think more so it gives you how important it is to Maekar that this doesn't get fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the weight of the responsibility you're now bearing? When I do let you, again, this is why I have My biggest issue is the end scene with Makar. I don't like it at all. I think it changes the whole vibe because it's like, you know how important this is to me. The weight of what your responsibility now is bigger than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And then, so, yeah.
I will say the Makar scene is normally what I think makes me cry when I read the books. It did not make me cry when I watched the show. It made me tear up. My eyes were getting a little watery, but it did make me cry. But there was a different part of the show that made me cry that I think doesn't normally make me cry in the books, which is interesting. But I don't know why. But yeah. So the next scene here is Duncan Raymond shows up, and Raymond has Sweetfoot. At first I was like, I like this because I like Sweetfoot, but this doesn't make sense. Dunk doesn't have Sweetfoot.
It doesn't make sense because he doesn't have, but he does have a mule though, right?
Well, he ends up giving Sweetfoot to Raymond back right in this scene. He's like, you need him. You're gonna start an orchard thing. So I like that too.
Yeah.
Also, but just like, how did Raymond buy Sweetfoot back if Raymond only has like this shitty ass tent to his name?
I mean, he might have actually some coin, but like,
he wouldn't have bought a better tent.
Maybe Stefan took it, I think is what he said, right? Or didn't he say Stefan took my tent?
My point is, if Raymond has like a couple gold sitting around and he could buy a nice tent or buy Dunk's horse, maybe it points
because he's a better friend.
Okay,
because he's a better friend than he is selfish. He has a solid tent. It might not be
good enough. I mean, he's got a wife and child on the way, so
he does not have a wife nor child.
You can't be giving away. You can't just be buying cars for your friends and living in a fucking shack when you got a fucking wife and child on the way. But
yeah, he should get child support for that kid.
Yeah, it seems like, again, this is temporary. He's going back to his dad, who's got a cider business or plans for a cider business. So yeah, sounds cool.
I was curious how you would feel about that. Just if he ended up taking Sweetfoot, would you have been like, what the fuck?
I always felt Sweetfoot was a little unresolved plot. Unresolved plot. Like he does say like, I will come back and buy you after the tournament, girl, if I win. And then it seems like he has the means, like he could like be like, hey, Makar, yeah, I'll take egg. Like,
by the way, I need this horse.
Again,
too.
It doesn't make sense to work into that sentimental scene to be like, yeah, I'll take egg on the road, but I also want like 900 gold or whatever to buy Sweetfoot, like 900 silver or whatever it would be to buy Sweetfoot back. So like, I get why they don't work it in, but I like how they did it in the show. How they kind of like, Sweetfoot has a good home with Raymond.
Yeah. Again, it was a cool. I like Raymond too, so like getting to see Raymond, he was funny dude.
I actually didn't really like him in the first couple times we saw him, but he came around on me. But
well, now that I have subtitles on and I can actually hear what he says, I don't mind at all.
Yeah. Next scene, Dunk by the tree.
It was fine.
He pulls the penny out of the hilt of the sword and nails it into the tree.
Yeah.
Again, not really what Arlen said is how it works. I guess Dunk's nailing this for himself.
Unless he's going to come back. Is he going to come back to Ashford Meadow?
I thought it was more like he was pulling it out of Arlen's sword and nailing it in the tree on behalf of Arlen. But I guess you're right. This is probably more for himself. I guess my point was, if it's for himself, then why not just like take a copper out of your pocket?
Yeah.
You don't need to pry it out of the sword hilt if it's for yourself. Just take any copper. That's kind of the point, right? But whatever.
I don't really know the point of it other than it's like an Arlen throwback.
Penny tree thing. It'll be cool when we get to it, and it's cool that we just saw we got the answer to the penny tree thing, and we're about to probably in a couple months get to the Jamie chapter where he's at penny tree. But yeah, I like that Dunk nailed it in, and then he's talking to his horse like, I don't know where we're gonna go.
I wish it was engraved. I wish you could see just like a little like SDT on it, right? Like,
what do you mean, Sir Tall Duncan?
Sir Duncan the Tall. I don't know.
STD. SDT. I don't know what you said the first time. Maybe my brain
I
just
might have
flipped
said it backwards. Yeah, I don't know, but it was fine.
That's what I was gonna say. If all you are doing is nailing, we don't have to get into this, but all you do is nailing a penny. When you go to war, you got to imagine like that's not just one person at a time. That's normally like, okay, we're gonna have like maybe out of this small town, maybe like
expensive
50, at least 50 to 100 pennies at a time. When you come back, how are you making sure like this is mine? I'm thinking you got to like chip it or something, or sharpie your initial on the back to make sure you're pulling the right one out when you get back.
Pull off the general penny.
Yeah, it's a general count. Doesn't have to be the exact right
I was kind of in this area.
Yeah, they have like little sections for different wars that people got caught off to. But yeah, so this is when Egg shows up, and this is where I cried. I don't know why. Like, this is where I was like getting teared up when he shows up, and he's like, I'm here, and he's like, Dunk just like starts giving him all the rules. Chestnut's yours, treat her kindly, whatever.
Even just like the very first like at a sort of that line.
Yeah, and Egg's like smirking a little bit, like Egg's like Dunk's trying to take it serious, but then he's not. And the part that I loved is he's like, we can go anywhere in the 7 kingdoms, and Egg's like 9 kingdoms. I'm like, I haven't been preaching on it at all in these last 6 episodes, I don't think, but this is something that I've definitely harped on at least 10 times over the course of our podcast.
You've also explained why it's the Seven Kingdoms, too.
Well, it was the Seven
It
Kingdoms.
was before Doran and the Iron Islands were...
Because when Aegon took over, the Crownlands wasn't a thing. The Crownlands is now just the area around King's Landing.
I thought it was because Doran and the Iron Islands weren't a part of it.
Well, no, it's because the Crownlands weren't a thing, and because the Iron Islands and the Riverlands were all one. They were all owned by the Harren the Black was an Iron Islander, and he was one who owned Harrenhal. So all the Riverlands and the Iron Island was one. It was the Isles and the Rivers, I think, is what it was called. So the Seven Kingdoms were... People actually probably don't know this, so I'll explain it here. The North, it was what? The North, the Westerlands, the Vale, the Isles and the Rivers is all one, right? So we're only at 4 so far.
The Reach.
Dorne. Stormlands and Dorne, right? That's the 7. Then when Aegon took over, the Iron Islands and the Riverlands split into 2. So now that's where you get 1 extra. Yeah. And then you get the Crownlands, which is now the area around King's Landing, which is the 9th. So that's how you get 9 from what was originally 7.
Did you like that they changed the title?
I wonder, they're not going to change the title, right?
We have a new show
next
now.
season isn't going to be the Night of the Nine Kingdoms. It's not what they're going to do. But I did like how they flashed the title card, the Night of the Nine Kingdoms. I did really like.
Yeah,
that.
I think it was another comic relief joke type of thing.
Yeah, I really liked it.
And then I think the worst scene of the show.
You don't need to do it. The thing is, here's the other thing. I don't know why. The other part that got me pretty emotional is when. After that, Dunk is like flabbergasted. Like Dunk like hangs back a sec. It keeps going on, right? The whole like Night of the Nine Kingdoms thing, and then it cuts to this like cool shot of like them just like walking down the road. The drone like slowly pulls overhead
with the ghost of Arlen,
and the ghost of Arlen's there, and then he pulls off. And even though I hate how they've portrayed Arlen in this show, I love this like just this image of
passing on the torch.
Like Duncan and is the legacy. Yeah, exactly. And then, last horrible scene.
There's still room for us to learn more about Arlen in the future. It's not like his character is in the grave. There's completely still plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still time to, like, redeem him with some knightly shit, like some true knight messaging.
I think we're definitely going to learn that at least when he was drunk in King's Landing at the end of the last season, like in the last episode that we saw. I think we're going to learn that was like an emotional drunk for him just losing his squire. Mm. Again, it seems like he's a general drunk, so I don't think that'll explain away everything. But I think we're going to learn at least a little bit about that part of him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're going to ever win me over on him. But here's, I guess, my thought on this. I feel like I could take these 6 episodes and pretty easily, like if I could just like somehow pull them into an editor and just cut out some of the Arlen scenes, maybe rearrange a few things. Like here's one of the problems I have with this show in general, now that we're completely done with it. The part with Plumber, right? The guy who basically
the
master
of
games.
The game. Yep.
When he pulls Dunk aside and he's like, "Hey, we're fixing this race. You just pick this guy and then he's going to fall." What's the point of that? Like why have that scene at all? At this point,
to show Dunk's honorable.
He never said no, though, and actually, he almost said yes. In this, right before he goes and saves Tancel, he's talking to Raymond, and Raymond's like, "Who are you going to choose?" And Dunk says, "Sir Ambrose, I think is the guy's name, who they're saying is going to take the fall if you choose him." I think Dunk basically tells Raymond that's who he's planning on picking. Again, it's never confirmed, but like,
and that's after he knows that guy was a faller.
Yeah. So is that the whole point, to make Dunk seem less honorable? That he was, again, it's Dunk's very wishy-washy about who he's going to choose in that conversation. So it's not like, yes, Dunk's like, maybe this guy. But like, at this point, I don't understand the point.
Maybe he has a fleeting thought. Maybe he had a fleeting thought of like, fuck it, maybe I'll just take some money and win.
But my point is, when you have 30-minute episodes, I feel like there's other things you could spend that time on than having that scene with Plumber and then even adding that part in the conversation with Raymond. Like, I don't know. Again, nitpicky thing, but I feel like there was another thing I was thinking about.
I think to be honest, I think they could have made this a 2-hour movie and we would have been fine.
Agree. I guess there was another thing I was thinking of too, though, going into this episode that I'm like, I don't think they're going to resolve this plot line, and I don't know what the point of it is. There was 2. There was the Plumber one and there was one more, and I don't think they did, but I can't think of it right now. So in general, again, awesome. Really loved the season. I think the last episode stuck the landing. What's your? I know what my score is. Do you have a score out of 10?
So yeah, I feel bad. I still stand firm on my 8-9 from last week. I think that's pretty fair.
I stand firm on my 8-1. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I stand firm on the 8-1. I think there was a few missteps last week for sure. The one before that, I stand firm on my 9-7 too. I think that one was great.
Good. So I'm not gonna. I need to ding it for the Makar scene at the end. I don't care for it. I think it changes everything. Not everything. Doesn't change everything. It changes everything with Makar to his son, and like his role in it.
I guess time out real quick. This is a slight spoiler. So if you don't want any spoilers at all going to the next 2 seasons, cash out now. Again, it's not very, very slight, not a huge deal. But I want your opinion on something, because what I said earlier is I think technically this last Makar scene could be true in the books too. There's one thing now that I'm thinking of that might imply it's not true. Again, here starting the spoiler. In the next one, Egg, and I'll say it in as least spoilery way possible, but I know Jeff will understand. Egg a few times in the future books mentions his boot.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in his boot that in the books I think he says Makar gave him, like for emergencies, basically. Right? Is that not true? And again, Egg could be the case could be that Egg's lying about this, and this was something that Egg always had anyway.
Or right? is it just a ring that he's always? It's a ring, right?
It's a ring, yeah. It's a Targaryen ring, I think.
Maybe it's just a ring. It's probably just a ring that he's always had. And Dunk was like, "Get that fucking thing off your hand right now."
Well, I think what Egg says is, my dad gave me this, so that if we're ever in trouble, we can just pull this out and be like, actually, this is who I am. Get out of jail. Basically, a get out of jail free card is I think what Egg says.
That's how I remember it too.
But I guess my point is, I'm sure Egg has a Targaryen ring. He could have brought this, told Dunk, hey, my dad sent me. Hey, my dad also gave me this, even though it's just his ring, right? So I'm not saying it proves that Makar sent him, but again, it's definitely implied, I think.
There's a couple ways around it. One, it's exactly what you said, and Dunk or an Egg just faked it all, like, oh, this is the ring, it's for emergencies. Or early episode 1, season 2, there is a search party out that hunts these two down, and then you get Makar's blessing, like, all right, like, go ahead.
Yeah, the only way I could see them doing that is if there's enough backlash on this last episode. Like, clearly this is the point. Like, right, I don't know why they would do this just to then start the next season by undoing it, right? It just seems like a total waste of time, but...
So I was hoping for the Makar, this is what's right for my son arc.
Yeah, I agree.
And they shot it down pretty quick. Other than that, I think it's pretty good. 8-7.
I was going to say 9-2. I was going to give it a 9-3, but I docked a point for the Makar thing.
I could have easily been 9-2, but then I was like, man, I don't like the end.
Yeah. Did I say this earlier when Makar says he's my last son, that they don't mention Aemon at all in there? I just wish I feel like it's a great again, they're trying to tie these shows together a little bit, and I feel like Aemon is a great character to just I know he's only mentioned once or twice in the 3 novellas, but I don't know. I feel like in the show they only mention his name once, I think, in the whole season. Like here would be another good one.
Yeah. He's already training to be a maester, right? He's already out.
I think so, yes. Right. That's definitely the implication.
I thought that's what the mention was. Like, I thought the other mention was like, yeah, the other brother's already at Old Town.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Raymond says that. But I just wish Makar would have said, like, when Dunk, I forget exactly how it comes up when he says he's my last son, but I wish either Dunk mentioned Dara not sleeping in ditch and Arya not eating meat, and then he's like, he's my last son. Like, I wish he at least would have said, like, all I have is Aemon off at the Citadel. He's out of my hands. So, Aemon's all I have left, or some I don't, just worked it in somehow. But again, a little nitpick. 9-2, great episode, great season overall. Good season overall.
I don't know how many times I'll go back to this season to like rewatch it.
It is nice that it's a good point. It's nice that you can watch the whole thing like it's a movie.
It is nice that it's short. I mean, you could fly through it
like a long movie. But what I say going in is I don't want them to ruin my boy. Like what's the meme I'm thinking of? Like, they killed my boy. My boy.
I don't know.
I can't think of it. If I find that
from The Godfather?
Maybe it's The Godfather?
I mean, there's definitely a scene when they kill Sonny in Godfather 1.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Well, look what they did to my boy.
Yeah.
That's all. I wanted to not be that at the end of the season, and I'm not that. I think Dunk is awesome. I think Egg is pretty good. Arlen, I didn't think I had to be worried about. Right, he's a very minor character. Dunk only ever thinks of him in flashing. I think that's the worst. That's the thing I'm most upset about. I think they did make her a little dirty with the very end scene. Yeah. Besides that, not much to complain about. Right.
That's probably what I'd be most mad about. But yeah, no, I think it's very well done and a good addition to the shows.
Yeah. I will say I've never been a big Makar fan, but I know there are people that are like they like Makar better, that they think he's a better character than Baylor, and like in his nuance and how he goes through the character arc of allowing, like, kind of being like realizing I'm not the best hands-on father. Let me try this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I'd like to see what people like that who were bigger Makar fans think about this, but I didn't have problems with it.
I'm not completely opposed to Makar not being, and like Dunk going, if it is, I keep mixing up Dunk and Egg. I feel like you fucking reading the books. If it is Egg just going off on his own, that's very badass on Egg's part to fucking run away. I don't want to like downplay that Egg is a badass.
Yeah, for sure. Rebellious child.
But I was more hopeful for Makar being all in on Egg learning from Dunk.
Yep, agreed. Right. But we got the end of the show, but we got news. We got the first trailer for House of the Dragon. Again, after season 2, it was okay. It didn't blow my pants off.
I mean, again, people get it's either, and we had it in this show, it's either a 9-9 or a 5-1, right? And that's what we're dealing with. House of Dragon season 2 wasn't a 5-1.
It was pretty good.
It was somewhere in the 8s,
above average. Yeah,
7s, 8s, right? Like, even though we had to deal with Daemon running around Harrenhal, you still had some fucking great scenes.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem I have with season 2 is because, and I think a lot of it's due to the writer strike and just HBO executives, right? It's not actually the show at all. Is they lost 2 episodes, right? They basically only had to do 8 episodes. They lost the last 2, and my understanding is they kind of learned that after the show had already been written. So they real quick had to scramble and somehow figure out how to take 10 episodes and make them 8 episodes during a writer's strike. So they kind of just ended up doing, let's just cut off the last 2 episodes. Yeah. If you know anything about a Game of Thrones season, this one included, 9 and 10, the last 2 are always the big ones, right? So I think the big problem with season 2 is it's kind of leading up to a big event, and then it just ends.
And then it ended without it.
Yeah, so I think season 3 has the benefit of that's gonna happen right away in season 3.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Unfortunately, I think I've already been spoiled on something. People just don't give a fuck anymore. They just throw them out there. Like, you can't even like read a post, and it's like Rhaenyra crying, and you're like, bam, you know exactly why. So
yeah, I mean, I know what happened, so I don't have to be worried about that. But
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I know it's one of those things where you know that pretty much everybody's going to bite the bullet at some point.
Real quick, we're on House of the Dragon. Let's circle back and then end it real quick. Last thing I heard, I saw an interview. I guess Dexter Soul Ansel, I think is the actor's name for Egg. I think he's been spoiling some stuff in interviews. Have you seen any of that recently?
Nah, I don't watch him. I just keep seeing the one of him saying I hate cursing, and then it's like, fuck off, or like, he just like it looks like a couple of it cursing right in a row. Yeah.
He said again, we're in spoiler territory, I guess. He said somewhere that George told them that he's like, someone asked him, do you guys know your character's end? And he said something like, I know that Egg dies at Summerhall, but Dunk doesn't. Dunk survives. Yeah. And like, we alwaess thought they both died at Summerhall, but now Egg's out here, Dexter's out here spoiling things that George told him. Apparently
he runs off one more time to Tarth and gets a cuck in.
Yeah, that's the thought, is he goes north. But, so there's a theory. There was an old theory that Dunk, before the theory about Dunk dying at Summerhall, I think came out in it's not even a theory. It just said kind of, well, I guess it is. In the World of Ice and Fire, the World Book, right, which isn't one of the main ones, is the one that has the clip about Summerhall, which kind of says, if not for the valor of the Lord Commander, and then the rest of the page is blotted out. People from that always thought that Dunk died. But before that, there was a big theory that somehow at the end of things, Dunk somehow leaves the Night's Watch and becomes Cold Hands.
Nah, that's stupid.
I think it's stupid too, and I don't agree with it at all. But now that theory's back on, people are revamping that theory. Now it's back on the table. Now that Dexter has just said that Dunk survives,
and he was up with Bloodraven after. Yeah, what's way cooler is
Aemon and Bloodraven.
That's true. Dunk's gonna be holding the door open, or like the porculus open with his foot.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to you about this before. That's a huge fan theory. Is like, how is Dunk's foot going to be more important than a prince's life? And the thought is that Summerhall, somehow he's going to do something with his foot.
He saves everybody, but
it doesn't even have to be everybody. Rhaella, who's the Mad King's wife, is pregnant with Rhaegar at Summerhall, and as she's escaping, she goes into labor. So the thought is Dunk really just has to save her.
Where was Aerys? Why is he not here? Why
I think he is there. Again, I think they're all there. I just think a lot of them do get out. And I think the thought is a lot of it's because of Dunk. Dunk ends up saving like everybody but Egg.
Everybody but Egg.
Egg, and I think one other person's known to have died there.
Man, it's gonna be dope to see Egg go nuts and just like start throwing shit on fire.
Again, nobody knows what's up. We'll see.
I know.
We'll see what happened there.
I could write the scene.
But the other thing that Dexter, I guess, potentially spoiled is that Henry Cavill is
going to be.
You saw this one?
I did. Who the fuck is he though?
Flashback. It'll be a flashback character. Daemon Blackfire.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be a badass casting, but I don't know if there's any truth to it.
But that's how many scenes are they actually going to use him in? Like, he's a big character for like 2 minutes of screen time.
Again, we're in spoiler territory. I would just want him somehow like in like a flashback or something when Eustace is going through his monologue about how Daemon the Good is chubby and likes reading, and Daron is hard chested, and that's the only time I'm picturing Henry Cavill. But
Superman style Witcher. He's gonna look like this Witcher character, right?
Again, I would expect that we're gonna at some point, either in season 2 or 3, we're gonna get a few flashbacks of the Red Grass Field, where Daemon dies, right? I would hope that the flashbacks focus on Arlen and Roger of Pennytree, his squire Roger of Pennytree dying. Yeah. Right? That's what relates to Dunk. But that's where you would see Henry. Yeah. Or Daemon. But
all right.
Yeah. Cool. We went way too long for this. We kept this up. We kept this on a good timeline, and we just rambled for 10 minutes at the end.
I was gonna make the joke that the episode was 27 minutes, and here we are at an hour 4.
Yeah, we just rambled.
It's for the fans, though.
Yeah.
It's for you. It's for all you guys.
Well, we'll see you guys next week with our regular scheduled programming Feast of Crows wrap up. Good show overall.
Good job.
Yep. All right. Bye. See you guys. Bye-bye.